I knew a woman once who lost herself in a relationship. She stopped wearing red because he didn't like it, stopped laughing loud, stopped dreaming big. She kept giving and giving, hoping one day he'd see her worth, but he never did. Until one day she stopped begging. She started blooming. She traveled alone, built her business, rediscovered the fire in her soul. And guess what? He came back. But not because she begged, because her glow was undeniable. Let this be your reminder. The right people are drawn to your light, not your pain. They will not be scared of your growth, your ambition, your truth. They will not ask you to shrink so they can feel tall. They will clap when you win. They will love the unedited version of you. Stop trying to prove you're worthy of staying. Start proving to yourself that even if they leave, you'll still rise. Focus on blooming so powerfully that you forget you ever needed to be chased. Pour into yourself. Water your own roots. Build your own peace. Because when you elevate, you don't have to search for your tribe. They find you. Imagine someone walking into your life not because you begged them to stay, but because they couldn't resist the force of your transformation. Imagine meeting people who value your silence, who match your energy, who admire your strength. That kind of connection, it doesn't come when you plead. It comes when you bloom unapologetically. The moment you choose growth over validation, peace over chaos, and self-worth over temporary attention, that's the moment the right people start showing up. Not to fix you, but to grow with you, but to complement your wholeness. Because when you bloom, you become a magnet, not for attention, but for alignment. You thought it was the end, didn't you? That phone call that never came, that message left on read, the job you were perfect for that slipped right through your fingers, the friend who ghosted you when you needed them most. You stood there holding your heart like broken glass, wondering what you did wrong, wondering why you weren't enough. But hear this, rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It's a divine reroute towards something better, something bigger, something built for you. Sometimes life slams a door so loudly you think it's punishment, but it's not. It's protection. You didn't lose them. They lost the version of you that still believed you needed their approval to feel valuable. Because truthfully, you didn't get rejected. You got released from what was never meant to hold you in the first place. There's a girl who gave her heart to a man who said she wasn't the one. She spiraled. She begged the universe to give her another chance, to make him stay. But months later, she met someone who didn't question her, who didn't run from her fire, who saw her chaos and said, I love you through it. That earlier no, it wasn't rejection. It was redirection toward a love that actually deserved her depth. You applied for that dream position, prepared for weeks, showed up polished and passionate, and they still chose someone else. Your confidence cracked. But weeks later, you stumbled into an opportunity so wild, so aligned, that it felt written for your soul. And suddenly you understood. The thing you thought you wanted wasn't the thing that was going to grow you. We attach ourselves so tightly to outcomes that we forget the bigger plan. Sometimes what you think is the destination is only a pit stop. Sometimes you're being delayed not because you failed, but because timing is everything. You're not being punished. You're being positioned for something that requires the version of you that hasn't arrived yet. And sometimes the only way to meet that version is to walk through the fire of rejection. I know a woman who started a business after being fired from her job. She cried for days, ashamed and angry. But that rejection forced her to tap into her own creativity. Today, she hires people. That email that crushed her, it was her initiation. The no that shattered her comfort zone, it birthed her empire. You need to rewire your reaction to rejection. Don't crumble, get curious, ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? Because often, the most painful endings are just beginning in disguise. Sometimes the people who leave are simply clearing space for the people who will stay. Sometimes the plans that fall apart are making room for miracles you didn't even see coming. And when someone doesn't choose you, thank them, not out of sarcasm, but from deep, powerful gratitude. Because they freed you to choose yourself. They freed you to level up. They freed you to meet someone or something that sees your light and says, finally, There you are. Your job is not to take rejection as a scar. It's to take it as a signpost, a map, a push toward your purpose, toward your strength, toward your next level. Because what is meant for you will never require you to beg, break, or betray your essence. So hold your head high when the door closes. Walk away when they say no. Smile when life says not this one. Because behind every rejection is a reroute. And behind every reroute is a version of you waiting to rise. We live in a world that glorifies being surrounded by friends, by noise, by validation, by company. But no one teaches you how to sit in silence with yourself and realize that being alone is not your weakness, it is your weapon. When you master solitude, you become unshakable. Because there is a kind of peace that only comes when the world quiets down and you finally hear your own voice without the echo of everyone else's opinions. There's a girl sitting at a cafe alone, sipping her coffee, scrolling through her phone to avoid the stares. She feels awkward because we've romanticized togetherness and stigmatized solitude. But what if I told you that the person who dares to sit alone is often the strongest in the room? Because she's not afraid to be seen without a crowd to validate her existence. Because she knows her worth doesn't shrink in silence. Being alone is where the healing happens. It's where clarity rises to the surface like sunlight through water. When you're alone, there's no one to lie to, no mask to wear. You meet the raw, unfiltered version of yourself. The one who's been hidden under layers of people-pleasing, performing, pretending. That's not loneliness, that's sacred space. That's where power is born. Think of monks, think of leaders, think of warriors. They all train in solitude. They go inward before they go outward. Why? Because if you can't sit with yourself, how can you stand with others? If you can't face your own shadow, you'll keep casting it on everyone you meet. There's a woman who left a toxic relationship and spent a year alone. No dates, no distractions, just herself, a journal, and the quiet. People asked her, "Aren't you lonely?" And she said, "No, I'm finally home." She found herself in the stillness. She found her boundaries, her passions, her voice. And when she stepped back into the world, she didn't settle because she knew that being alone was never her punishment. It was her preparation. Being alone teaches you that your energy is sacred, that your peace is priceless. You stop begging for breadcrumbs of affection. You stop tolerating half-loves and conditional friendships. You start choosing quality over quantity. You become so rooted in yourself that anyone who wants access to you has to rise to your level. That's power. That's not loneliness. That's legacy. You ever watch a tree grow? It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need constant company. It just roots deeper, grows taller, and touches the sky in silence. That's what solitude does to you. It grounds you. It grows you. It shows you that your growth isn't dependent on who's watching. It's dependent on your willingness to water yourself. There's something divine about waking up alone and loving the person you rise with. Something spiritual about walking into a room full of people and knowing that your worth came with you, not from them. Something unstoppable about realizing that the silence you once feared is now your sanctuary, your creative space, your healing space, your becoming space. Let the world think you're alone. Let them whisper, let them misunderstand. Because while they chase noise, you are building an empire in stillness. While they fear the quiet, you are meeting the most powerful version of yourself in it. Solitude isn't emptiness. It's full of answers. It's full of wisdom. It's full of fire. The kind that burns away what no longer serves you. The kind that makes you rise without needing permission, applause, or attachment. And once you know the magic of your own company, you stop fearing absence. You start demanding presence. Real presence. Aligned presence. The kind that matches the sacredness of your solitude. You are the storm. Stop waiting for sunshine. You keep sitting by the window, waiting for the perfect day, waiting for peace to come wrapped in calm, waiting for approval to bloom before you dare to grow. But what if the peace you seek was never in the sunshine? What if you were never made to be delicate and soft like a petal in spring? What if you were made to shake the sky, to thunder through life with unapologetic force and power? From a young age, they taught you to be gentle, be patient, Wait your turn. But storms don't wait. Storms arrive unapologetic, necessary, cleansing. You were not born to be a decoration. You were born to be a declaration. You are not here to be liked. You are here to be legendary. A girl walks into a boardroom where she's the only woman, the youngest one, and everyone doubts her voice before she even speaks. She can feel the pressure to smile more, shrink more, agree more. But instead, she speaks like thunder, sharp, clear, unshaken. She doesn't wait for the room to give her space. She takes it. That's not arrogance. That's her storm speaking. And you have that storm in you too. You just forgot. You've been taught to chase light, to seek validation, to feel seen only when it's calm. But storms don't ask for visibility, they create it. When a storm rolls in, everyone notices. That's the kind of presence you were born with, not to be the quiet one in the back, but the force in the front. The one who breaks patterns, not follows them. You were made to disrupt the silence, not dissolve in it. You've been waiting for things to be just right before you move, when people support you, when you have more money, when love feels secure, when the path is clear. But storms don't wait for clearance. They create change. They are chaos that births clarity. Why wait for peace to make a move when you are the energy that shifts everything around you? There's a woman who lost her job, her partner, and a sense of identity, all in 1 year. She sat there staring at the wreckage of what used to be her life. And then something clicked. She stopped asking the world to fix it. She became the storm. She launched her business. She traveled alone. She became the woman she used to look for in others. She realized that the breakdown was never the end. It was the thunder that woke up her power. We are so conditioned to fear our own intensity, to tone it down, to be more digestible. But what if your fire is the very thing that will light up your path? What if your too much is exactly what this world needs? Storms don't apologize, they renew, they rebuild, and so do you. You keep looking for heroes, saviors, someone to understand your chaos and tell you it's okay. But what if you stopped waiting for someone to rescue you from the rain? What if you stood in it, arms open, unbothered? What if you let it fuel you instead of drown you? Some of the most powerful transformations happen not when everything is calm, but when everything is falling apart. Because the storm doesn't destroy you, it reveals you. It washes away what you no longer need. It clears the path for who you were always meant to become. So, stop waiting for sunshine. You are the lightning. You are the force. You are the change. You are not made to survive storms. You are made to be one. When you embrace that, you stop shrinking for comfort and start rising for purpose. And that's when your real power begins. You've been told your whole life to wait for love, wait for permission, wait for the right time. But the truth is, time doesn't wait for anyone. And neither should you. You don't need a crown to know you're a queen. You don't need an audience to know your worth. You don't need sunshine to bloom. Because the light you've been searching for has always been you. No one is coming to rescue you because you are not in distress. You are in transformation. You're not broken, you're becoming. Every scar, every silence, every setback was shaping you into someone the world couldn't ignore. That version of you that rises after being torn apart, that's the one they won't see coming. That's the version of you who doesn't knock on doors anymore. She builds her own. Listen to me. You are not too emotional. You are not too intense. You are not too much. You are a force. And if someone tells you otherwise, let them choke on their smallness. Because you weren't made to fit in. You were made to stand out, to stand tall, and to stand alone if you have to. You're not asking for attention, you're commanding presence. You're not begging for love, you are becoming love. You don't wait to be chosen, you choose yourself every damn day. And in that decision, you become unstoppable. They told you to be humble, to stay quiet, to be the good girl. But good girls rarely make history, and humble women rarely get heard. So speak loud, walk proud, and wear your confidence like a crown no one can take. Because when you stop shrinking, you make space for the world to rise to your level. And let me tell you something. When a woman knows her worth, she becomes the most powerful force on earth. Remember this. You are not behind. You are not lost. You are in the process of building something sacred. Don't compare your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20. Your journey isn't late. It's legendary. And legends take time. You're not waiting, you're preparing. You're not being rejected, you're being redirected. You're not being left out, you're being leveled up. And when the world tries to break you, show them your scars like medals. Wear your pain like power, because diamonds are made under pressure and queens are forged in fire. You are the fire. You are not fragile. You are not disposable. You are not someone's afterthought. You are the main event, the whole storm, the final answer. There will be days when you question everything, when silence feels loud, when being alone feels like a curse. But don't run from those days. Own them. Because the woman who sits with her pain without numbing it, who dances with her chaos without apologizing for it, who chooses herself when no one else does, she becomes the woman every little girl needs to see and every man secretly fears. And if they ever try to dim your light, blind them. If they try to mute your voice, roar. If they try to shame your strength, stand taller. Because this world doesn't need more women who play small to be liked. It needs women who play big to be free. This is your time. Not tomorrow. Not when you're perfect. Not when you're loved. Now. Because you've always been enough. And now you finally believe it. So don't walk out of here hoping to be seen. Walk out like you know you were born to be unforgettable. And when they ask who you are, don't even answer. Let your energy respond. Let your success speak. Let your silence scream. You don't need the storm to pass. Because you are the storm.